Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. Welcome back to the podcast, and if you're new here, welcome. Before we get into today's episode, as a little disclaimer, this podcast is in no way, shape, or form associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation, although I would love it to be. It's just an expression of my thoughts and opinions. Now, the question on everyone's mind, or maybe not, is why did Taylor disappear at the VMAs, and why were so few awards presented at this year's VMAs? Really funky junky, right? But I feel like before we talk about the VMAs today, we are full steam ahead with the Swiftivities, and I am grateful for it because I feel like we were a little dry, a little stale on the Swiftivities front for a minute, but Taylor took her time to get some R&R, and now we are back, baby. Tavis is back. NFL season is back. We've got 2 games under our belt, and I feel like things are good. The vibes are high. The weather's cooling down, at least here in Los Angeles. And I don't know, feeling good. I feel like we had a fun summer. We had like kind of the best possible continuation with like Rat Summer coming off of like Barbie Eras Tour Summer. And I think it's the best vibes possible. So let's talk about this past weekend and the Chiefs game before we get into the VMAs. This was the second Chiefs game of the season, and the Chiefs are officially 2 for 2. Is that right? Am I saying that right? They're 2 for 2, meaning that they won both games of the season so far. And they've got 2 more games for the rest of the month happening both this upcoming Sunday and then the Sunday after that, which is actually happening here in Los Angeles. And I feel like Taylor's outfits have been so freaking cute. I feel like she went like sexy, slithery, va-va-voom for game 1. And I kind of felt like game 2, she would probably tone it down just a little bit. And the t-shirt dress seemed like the absolute perfect choice, but not to fear, because those thigh-high boots were back. They were back, baby, in full-fledged action. I feel like thigh-high boots are going to have an absolute moment this fall. Like, I feel like every brand is scrambling right now to get some thigh-high boots on the market because of the Taylorification, Swiftification of the thigh-high boot. I do not own a pair of slinky patent thigh-high boots, but perhaps I need one. I feel like she has the legs for miles that a lot of us don't have, so I'm not totally sure if I could pull them off at a mere 5'2", but love that for her. Now, I had shared a bunch of Chiefs-inspired outfits over on Instagram, and if you're ever interested in the different things that I link or outfit inspo, I share a ton of Taylor Swift-inspired stuff, including I already started this week on Halloween costume inspo that are all like Eras Tour, Swiftie-esque. Think like Devil's Roll the Dice, traffic light costume, very cute, stuff like that. As the traffic lights up, it'll be all right. They say, I don't know. Head over to my Like to Know It. You can literally just type in LTK Reagan Bailey on Google and it'll pop up. But I wanted to tell you, report back on the Abercrombie items that I had shared because I do my best with every single article of clothing or anything that I ever link. 90% of it I actually own and have like purchased and love myself. And I rarely share things that I haven't tried, or at least if I'm not familiar with the brand, like I'm honest with you guys about it. But almost everything that I share and Like to Know It, I personally own and have tried. The Chiefs items, the item that I picked for myself was the t-shirt that actually someone in the suite at the Chiefs game wore. They were like photographed right next to Taylor. So I was cracking up because I'm like, wow, I have good taste. But it's a really cute Abercrombie t-shirt. And I guess it's sort of unisex because it technically said it was men's, but long story short, it's very comfortable. Honestly, like one of the most comfortable shirts I think I own. The softness of the shirt, I can't even describe to you. I wish you could feel it through the screen, microphone, whatever it is that you're listening to. But I just feel happy. I feel happy to see Taylor in her happy era. I think that TS12 will be like the most glitter gel pen, happy-go-lucky, fun vibes album. And being that Travis and Jason, I believe both of them, are going to be featured on a Christmas album with the NFL or Chiefs. I need to look into that more. I'll do an episode when the time's closer. I would absolutely love for a little Travis cameo on TS12, but perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's bring it back to the street style and outfits. I feel like the last game in particular was really fun because we rarely ever see Andrea, Taylor's mom, really in a public sighting with Taylor outside of like, concerts or planned Taylor events. But aside from that, it was fun to see her in a color other than black. Andrea's signature uniform is like a black t-shirt or black skirt, black dress, very simple, very like A-line, not even A-line, just like straight cut, and her hair in kind of like a side swept ponytail or braid. So it was fun to see her rocking her little Chiefs moment. She had a cute little handbag with a little handkerchief tied around it. And aside from Andrea being there, it was also fun to see Austin, Taylor's brother, there. I feel like we rarely get public appearances of him. Again, I've said this in past episodes, like I would love to know more about him. If I knew more, I would do a whole episode on it, but I really don't know anything about him other than it was cool to see him at the game. Now, all that being said, we are officially, I need you to code red, sound the alarms for this one. We are officially 1 month out. 1 month out from the final return of the Eras Tour forever. The Eras Tour period. Like, this is the final time that we're coming back around. And I keep my side of the street clean. Like, can you imagine? This is our last time, our last go around. That being said, I'm dying to know, for those of you who are making it to any of the Miami, Indianapolis, New Orleans, Toronto shows, like, what are you wearing? Are you going all out? Are you keeping it simple? Like, what are the vibes? I need to know everything. And even more importantly, did anyone get tickets during this most recent Capital One ticket drop fiasco? Because if you don't know, Capital One did this, I don't even know what to call it, like limited cardholder drop of tickets. And there were thousands of tickets that were allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly available, because it seems like there were thousands of tickets available, but cardholders couldn't actually get their hands on them. And then somehow bots, of course, got them, and people were just angry, and I saw lots of angry people, is all I know. I'm not a Capital One cardholder, so I didn't get access to this fiasco situation. Sounds like it's probably for the best. But it did not seem like anything out of the ordinary for any sort of Ticketmaster situation. I feel like at this point, I'm just gobsmacked that Ticketmaster is still something that we're talking about after the past 2 years. It's just mind-boggling to me, especially coming off the back of so many artists having to go through the whole bot refund situation. Like, you guys are aware of my situation with the Sabrina Carpenter Short and Sweet tour, having to fight for my life to get my tickets back after they randomly canceled them one day, saying, "Oh, you're a bot, we're canceling bot ticket purchases." And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a real person. Same thing happened with Chapel Roan tickets. Chapel Roan just refunded a bunch of people, but it's just not making sense. The math is not mathing, and color me confused is what I'll say. And I'll leave it at that. I feel like the Great War, we're done fighting it, and we need to put that to bed for now until the next tour, until TS Tour 12, 11. I don't know if we're going to have a Torture Poets Department tour. I doubt it. So I guess whatever tour we get next would be something in the near future TS12 related. I hope. I wish. Or maybe it'll be like a Rep TV, Debut TV, and a TS12 combination tour. That's a story for another day. Let's go ahead and get into the VMAs. And we can start out by recapping all the different awards that Taylor won. Now, we know that she was originally nominated for, I think, like 10 or 11 awards, and then she ended up being nominated for 12 total with the addition of the last 2 kind of random nominations that were added in with like performance of the lifetime of the VMAs or something. So the awards that Taylor did end up taking home, we've got Song of the Summer, which is Fortnite, which I'm going to be honest, I don't really get how that won. I feel like Sabrina Carpenter's songs were the Song of the Summer. Like, Fortnite obviously has been a bop and a half for the entirety of 2024, but I don't know if I would say like Fortnite is my go-to sipping on a drink out of a pineapple in 105-degree weather with my feet up, like in the sand, like I don't know if Fortnite is my number one choice, but that's fine. Obviously happy for Mother. So we've got Song of the Summer, Best Direction, which has to do with music video, obviously, Best Editing, Best Pop, Best Collaboration, Artist of the Year, and Video of the Year. Now, what's most bizarre about these awards, not even just the ones Taylor won, but even other artists, was that of these awards that Taylor received, they only announced 3 of these on stage. 4 of them do not get announced on stage. Very bizarre to me that they chose to do it this way. I feel like we talked about this over on Threads a little bit. I had posted my thoughts, but I feel like the VMAs was like 99% performances and 1% actual award show, which is fine. I mean, I think that people have short attention spans, and as we know from like the past 3 years of award shows, people are problematic when they get on stage. And I think we saw a little bit of a moment with Flavor Flav while he was like blubber blabbering up there, kind of hogging the mic. And it was actually very cute. I've had the chance to meet Flavor Flav twice, and he's an absolute doll and a half. So I've literally no bad blood with this man. but he was super cute. He followed up on, I think it was like Twitter or X, like the day after the VMAs. And he's like, I'm watching back footage and I realized that I might have talked too long on stage. Like, I'm so sorry to all the fans, blah, blah, blah. It was very cute. And we love a man who can take accountability in the year of 2024. Now, a couple of new records that Taylor set at the VMAs is most awarded solo artist in VMA history. Now, she dethroned Beyonce from this title. And, on this podcast, we don't like to compare women. All women are fantastic queens, and we are happy to celebrate literally every human on this planet Earth. But it's just a fact that now Taylor is the most awarded solo artist in VMA history, which is a total comeback and a half following the Kanye 2009. I don't even know what I call it. I call it the Kanye incident, where he stole the mic and all that jazz. In addition to being the most awarded solo artist in the VMA history, Taylor is also the first artist to win Video of the Year 5 times. Now, those 5 videos include Bad Blood in 2015, You Need to Calm Down in 2019, All Too Well 10-minute version short film 2022, Anti-Hero in 2023, and then, of course, Fortnite in 2024. So I'm curious to know from you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below and let me know out of those 5, Bad Blood, You Need to Calm Down, All Too Well short film, Anti-Hero, or Fortnite, what your favorite is. I feel like it's so hard to put All Too Well short film in the same category as like a Joe Schmo regular music video, because that in itself to me is an absolute chef's kiss masterpiece. But that aside, there is your little brief overview of the actual awards in relation to the VMAs. Now, what I am most interested in as a little fashionista myself, if you will, is Taylor's outfits. And I think she ate the house down. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. What I love most about Taylor, here's my thing. Here's my thing with anybody wearing red carpet fashion, stepping out in the public eye to be criticized. I'm not here to criticize. I love fashion commentary. I think you can be, like Sarah from Taylor Swift Style says, like, you can be critically kind. And I think Taylor's style, the thing I most commend is that she's remained really true to herself. She is modest. She wears things that are appropriate for her body type. I feel like she wears things that are feminine, not overly trendy. Like, it's really just true to her. And I love that. But what I love even more about her recent, like, kind of style and dabbling into these different designers and looks is that I feel like she's just having fun with her fashion. And I feel like this Dior yellow plaid dress on the carpet, while to an outsider might seem like a really risque, random, bizarre look for Taylor in comparison with her past VMA looks or red carpet fashion in general, I feel like there's some significance here that a lot of Swifties might pick up on. And that is that the yellow plaid Dior outfit is very punk princess goth-esque. And the last time that we heard Taylor mention goth punk princess was in her Time Magazine Person of the Year article. And in there, she references Reputation Taylor's version and mentions punk goth as like the vibe. So I feel like, say what you want, call me crazy, honk honk beep beep. I feel like this outfit was giving us a taste of the era to hopefully come. And I also just think it was kind of a fun departure from her typical style, but it was still calling in elements that are very Taylor, like thigh-high boots and like the corset style. She wears a lot of that corset style top. I think it looks really good on her. But my personal favorite looks of the night were to follow this Dior yellow plaid look. The last thing I'll say about the Dior yellow plaid look is her hair and makeup. I think the tousled hair was really fun, sexy, edgy, and different for her. And then that really smoky, heavy, dramatic eye was also a really fun look for her. And something we don't see often from her, since she does typically go for like a more neutral eye look with just like mascara and some liner. But the Monse, I don't know if that's how you say this, Monse, M-O-N-S-E. Monse's the designer. I'm going to go with Monse. The UFO dress and then the top skirt jacket combo that she wore for the after party. I absolutely loved this outfit. I think it was, first of all, I gotta say, toot my own horn, because I called this prediction. I thought she was gonna switch into something more sparkly and colorful following her red carpet look, and I predicted that over my Instagram reels. But I feel like why I liked these looks is they were a direct call out to obviously the era that she's currently in. There was the motifs of like the UFO, the down bad vibes, but I feel like it was a really fun look because it took a traditional silhouette that Taylor wears and just made it fun with like the belt buckle straps, the asymmetrical hem. She tied in, of course, the thigh-high boot. I just feel like it was perfectly sexy, on brand, glittery, award show-esque, and of course fit the era. So big fan. I think that UFO dress and then after party look were some of my favorite looks that I think Taylor has ever worn. But of course, In this episode title, I reference Taylor's absence from the audience, and I want to talk with you guys about kind of the weirdness that was. Of course, it's a fan. Like, we loved it. We loved having the MTV audience point of view, Taylor's version camera that they had set up. But I have some thoughts on why I think Taylor might have left the audience for quite a considerable amount of time, like 2 hours at the award show. And I think it was because this camera was so close up to her. I don't know if you guys watched the point of view camera that MTV had set up. They were live streaming literally just Taylor Swift, like a camera on her, both on TikTok and on YouTube. And it felt very invasive. Where I think it felt invasive was that it was angled, especially when she switched into her shorter dress. Like, I'm thinking it was like a GoPro or something. It was set up on the floor, and so it was angled up, and I think it was just an uncomfortable angle, number one. But also, if Taylor was not made aware of that ahead of time, I could see how that would be incredibly uncomfortable. Now, this is purely speculation. Obviously, this was not addressed online, but the first time that she had left the audience during the evening, I believe, was after she received the Best Collaboration award on stage. And then she returned, of course, was wearing the new outfit, and then she left again shortly after Katy Perry's performance and her whole award was presented. So I feel like it was a little misleading throughout the VMAs that Taylor Nation was being extremely cryptic. Cryptic and Machiavellian. What is that lyric? Cryptic and Machiavellian, 'cause I care. Right? Am I saying that word totally wrong? Words sound funny when you sing them in Taylor lyrics, but then you try to apply them to everyday everyday grammar. But Taylor Nation, per usual, was being incredibly cryptic, and I feel like it was making a lot of us think that Taylor was going to be like popping out for some sort of surprise performance. And complete honesty, I did not think she would come back on stage following being gone for that long, but nonetheless, it was great to see her just there and having fun. And of course, dancing during Katy Perry's Vanguard performance. I feel like we can officially say that the beef is like squashed forever and evermore. I personally had a lot of fun watching Sabrina Carpenter's performance. Chappell Roan's like medieval moment wasn't my cup of tea because I'm such a girly pop girl that I wish she would have gone a little bit more like drag-esque like she typically does with her outfits. But of course, we can always expect her to show up and show out in a theme, period. And of course, it was her first time doing that. So I think she did a fantastic job. But all that to say, really fun watching. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Why do you think she disappeared? Do you think I'm reading too much into it? Do you think it's not that big of a deal? Do you think it was strange? I feel like a lot of people on the chitter chatter I was seeing online was that people were like, this is bizarre. Where is she? And also, why did they not give her half her awards on camera at least? Or it was just strange overall. That being said, lots of Swiftivities to discuss as of recent, and I've been having so much fun discussing so many of these things with you guys and these like pop culture moments over on my Patreon. If you're new to the podcast, you just joined on YouTube, wherever you're listening from, I have a Patreon, and if you have no idea what Patreon is, think of it as like a Facebook group behind a paywall. And I offer different tiers. It's a great way to, it's pretty much the only way to support my podcast. But you've got a $2 tier, $5 tier, $10, and then $19.89. And $19.89 is my sorority tier. And that is what I consider like my most loyal fans and supporters of the podcast and pretty much everything that I do, Reagan Bailey, Swiftie School, Taylor Swift related. But we do something 2 times a month called a clown call where we get on Google Meet and we literally just chit chat for an hour. And I just had one this past evening, but I have another one happening at the end of the month for both my senior and sorority members. So the $10 tier and the $19.89 tier, you can join either one and join this call. It's happening on September 30th, and it's really seriously such a good time. I feel like I've gotten to know everybody on this call, like both on a personal level and just on a Swiftie level. It's seriously one of my favorite things that I look forward to every single month. We do them on Sundays or Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Time. And aside from that, if you're not interested in the clown calls, I've got downloads that I put up there at the beginning of every month. I've got bonus episodes of the podcast that I put up one time a month towards the middle of the month, and just, different discussion posts that we put up, and then group chats and all sorts of stuff. So if you are enjoying the podcast, please, 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 I encourage you to support me and me other Swifties through the Patreon. You can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Swiftie School. Now, let's go ahead and get into the shoutouts. I end every single episode with the shoutouts, and I love hearing from you guys via the form as to where your head is at with clowning and the latest festivities. This next one comes from Emma, and Emma says, okay, so the second dress that Taylor wore at the VMAs was interesting. It had a UFO on it, which of course could represent down bad. And then if you look closer, there is a small human/character on there that could represent the smallest man who ever lived. And the VMA after party look had the same UFO and little human on it. Are these the next music videos? Down Bad and or The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived? Oh, Emma. Down Bad would be a dream come true. I think it would be a departure from Taylor's typical music video style. But where I fear that we might not see a Down Bad music video is that with the alien-esque theme of Down Bad, I feel like it leans into the sci-fi category that Taylor in her director's interview thing that she did. It's on YouTube. I'll try to find the link and put it in the description for you guys. She basically did this director's interview. I can't remember who it was with. I think it was with another big director, where she just said that that's not really her jam. Like sci-fi is something she would typically stay away from. So unless she went a totally different direction and made it more you need to calm down, like music video-y, where it was like a UFO lands in the middle of Joshua Tree or Palm Springs or like New York or Los Angeles, and then it's like her running through streets, like city streets. I could see that more being the vibe of Down Bad. And Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, I feel like there's so much that video could hold. That my question too with these two music videos is like, I don't know when she would have the time to film them or make them if she did not do them during this September break, which she totally could. Like she could be knocking out a music video during this time. I mean, she's got another 4 weeks basically from today. So perhaps like that's not totally crazy in the world of Taylor Swift. Like we know she's done crazier. So fingers crossed, I think that would be incredibly fun. If we don't end up getting the re-records before the end of the year, maybe we'll get a music video or documentary announcement and we can leave it at that. But of course, just the return of the year is where it'll be enough for me. But the last one I have for you guys today is from Elliot L. And Elliot L says, so Reputation is Taylor Swift's 6th album, and 6 times 2 is 12. And so Reputation TV could be TS12, since it celebrates her getting her reputation back, and we might be getting a double drop by getting Rep TV and Debut TV, since it's the album's place was doubled, so we could get a double drop so it feels more special, celebrates her getting her reputation and name back. Elliot, I like that your thinking here aligns with TS12 and what's to come, because the reality is a lot of people will call us crazy for theorizing about Taylor's next album, but something I talked about on my Patreon call last night with my members is that Taylor, in the Miss Americana documentary, was already planning her next tour while she was currently on tour. They have to start reserving stadiums, they have to start planning, what is costuming going to be like, hiring, people to build sets and all that stuff. So I don't think it's entirely unreasonable for us to at least like dibble dabble in the world of TS12. I don't think she would make TS12 necessarily the re-records. I think the only way that Reputation TV would be tied into TS12 is if it were a double drop with, let's say, Karma. Or perhaps there are so many vault tracks for TS12 that she makes that almost its own like anthology moment, similar to how we saw with TTPD, and then that becomes TS12 and sort of the era. But I don't think she would ever tour like a Reputation TS12. Like if Reputation was a part of TS12, I don't think she would do a Reputation tour again, right? Like that would be absolutely insane. But who knows? Never say never. In the wise words of Justin Bieber, never say never. That's all I have for you guys today. If you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend, do all the things, drop a comment below, let me know your latest thoughts, clowning, theories, Swiftivities, all the things. And if you're listening anywhere else, thanks so much for joining me. I had so much fun with you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities, and long story short, this love is real and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time!